Welcome back to this GenAI certification tutorial playlist. And in this video, we are going to talk about purpose specific function called sentiment. And this subtopic comes under GenAI and LLM function, which has total 40% weightage. The sentiment function comes in multiple versions, and that's what we are going to decode. It's a very simple AI SQL function, but during the exam, you will get a trickier scenario based question. And if you do not have a deeper understanding about this function, it is very likely that you will miss 2 or 3 questions from the GenAI certification exam. This is a hands on tutorial. So, if you have your trial edition up and running, it would be a good practice to follow along with me. And by end of this video, you will have a good degree of confidence to answer any question coming from this task specific function called sentiments. Let's go to Snowsite web UI. So this is my worksheet and this is a role. I am running all the queries using account admin role. So let's start with the first version of sentiment AI SQL function called sentiment. This function belongs to Snowflake database Cortex schema, and this is the name of the function. This is a legacy sentiment AI SQL function, and this function takes one single input and overall it returns sentiment score between -1 to 1. This is a customer feedback about a software, and it says the software loads slowly and crashes sometime. Usability is great, but customer support was disappointing. Pricing seems too high. Now, by looking at this overall customer review, it is giving more negative than a positive feedback, and that's what we are expecting from this sentiment function. So if I run this, so here I got the score minus 0.20703, and as per the documentation, so we can say minus 0.2 belongs to this because it is greater than minus 0.5, and so as per the Snowflake definition, this is a neutral feedback and not a negative feedback. What happens if I remove this fully classified name? Does it give me the same result? Let's run that. So here it is saying that it is unknown function. So make sure whenever you get syntax based question, always give a priority to fully qualified name snowflake.cortex.sentiment. We have understood this positive, neutral and negative classification, and now here it says 0 indicate that the function could not determine a clear sentiment in the text. Now one of the limitation with this legacy sentiment SQL function that it does not indicate the intensity of the sentiment, but the polarity of the sentiment, whether it is a positive, neutral or negative. And okay, so now I am going for the second version of the sentiment function. Now, if you go to the Snowflake documentation, Snowflake is primarily asking to use this AI sentiment over the previous one. And we have a third version of sentiment function, which is called entity sentiment. So first, let me go through this. So let me run this and then we can discuss about it. So when I executed this particular AI sentiment function by passing this input text, which is exactly the same input text what we have seen in the previous version, it basically provides the sentiment analysis in terms of categories. The name of the category is overall and the sentiment is mixed. So here if you see, this is taking only one input and it is not taking any large language model name like Claude or a Llama 3. So AI sentiment has an equivalent legacy function called entity sentiment. Okay. And this also takes the text input followed by entities. When we say entities, primarily this is the entity where I can provide a classification or entities or aspect, and against that dimension, the sentiment analysis will be done. And we will see in the later part of this video. Now let me run this particular sentiment function and let's see how the result appears. So the result of entity sentiment and AI sentiments are exactly same, but the result of sentiment is completely different. It provides the outcome in terms of a number which varies from -1 to 0 to +1. However, for entity sentiments and AI sentiment, the result is more like a categories, and for each category, we will get the sentiment values. Now, it is also possible I can produce the sentiment analysis using the AI complete or a complete function. However, here I have to provide some context telling that read the following user feedback and generate the overall sentiment under four categories called performance, usability, support, and pricing, and suggest the sentiment. And then I have to give this feedback, which is a customer feedback, and let me run this query. Now I got the result, but if you see, the result is quite verbose, and that's why the best approach to find the sentiment from any customer feedback or review is to use one of the sentiment function, which is a purpose built function. During the exam, they will try to ask and confuse you which is a most appropriate function, and there is a possibility that you end up choosing AI complete because AI complete can also be customized to provide exactly the same result. However, it is more effort intensive rather than using the purpose built function for a given use case. Now, if I have to provide the categories or a aspect or entities, this is how we can do that. Let's understand the construct. So whether it is AI underscore sentiment or entity underscore sentiment, they both take input text, or I would say the review text, followed by the category object, which is nothing but an array of multiple string. They should be separated with a comma, and there cannot be more than n categories, and each category should not exceed 30 characters. So these are the hard limit. If you go beyond this limit, this function will not work, and we will see it in the later part of this video. Let's run this AI SQL function. So now I got the result, and let me show how this result is looking like. Let me have a little bit of experiment. So I provided four different categories: performance, support, usability, and pricing. And here the result is coming in a JSON format where overall is always going to be part of this JSON, which says the overall sentiment is mixed. However, when we talk about performance as an aspect or entity, this is negative because the software performance is very slow. Likewise, for pricing, it is also negative. The support is also negative, and the usability is positive. Now, how Snowflake has decided, because there is a some positive and some negative, that's why the overall sentiment is mixed, like here. And once you understand the behavior of the sentiment AI SQL function, you would be able to answer any questions during the exam. Since customer has provided a feedback for a software, if I add these two additional categories, let's see what happens. These aspects are from a movie review, and I added this movie review classification into a product review, and let's see how does it produce result. So when it comes to the categories where the sentiment cannot be extracted, in that case, the response comes to unknown, right? So there are positive, unknown, negative, and few more options are available when Snowflake return the result. So let's understand what is optional, what is mandatory, and how the result appears when the sentiment analysis is given back to the user. So this function does not take any model name. If you are going to get an SQL where model names are specified, probably those are incorrect options. It takes input text as a must parameter, followed by input categories, which they also call sometimes entities or aspect. This is an optional parameter. The entities can go up to maximum 10, and each of those should not be longer than 30 characters. When it returns, it can return unknown, positive, negative, what we have seen, and sometimes it is neutral or a mixed. We have seen all of them, and the overall category record is always included, and it contains the overall sentiment of this as we have seen here. Please remember this important point about the sentiment, specifically AI sentiment SQL function, and these limitations are also applicable for entity sentiment AI SQL function. Now I'm going to create a table called product feedback, and I'm going to insert some values. And when I'm going to execute this AI sentiment function on the top of this field, let's see how the record is inserted in my usage table, which we are going to cover in the future lecture. So I managed to insert 3 record, looks good. Now I am going to run exactly the same AI SQL statement, and now I executed this select statement using this AI sentiment where the input has taken from the table directly under these four categories. And if you see the result. This is how the result looks like. This is, and if I go to the second one, you see overall is coming all the time along with positive, positive, positive. So here overall it is positive. And if I go to the third one, here I have some positive, pricing is little unknown, and this is support positive, usability is neutral. So all those cases are available here. Why I demonstrated this one, when we go to check how the usability is recorded for this particular query, should I have multiple entries or a single entry into that usage table? This might be a trickier question in the exam. Now, another scenario I would like to show you, what if you get a very long text? How does it work? So I'm going to create another table called feedback, customer feedback. Now I'm going to insert a record. So record got inserted. So I'm now going to run this sentiment analysis using 10 categories, and let's see how does it work. So I have different categories. For each of the category, I got this JSON file. It is very easy to process this JSON file because it is very structured outcome, and you can extract the sentiment for each of this aspect or entities or so-called categories. So even if you have a very long text, this purpose-built AI sentiment function is a very, very fast, very efficient. Now, the next question we have it, does it support multiple languages? As on today, with the current version of Snowflake, it support around 6 to 7 languages like French, Portuguese, Hindi, English, and so on. So this is a French feedback about iPhone, and let's see. And here I have provided more than 10 categories. Let's see how does it respond. So I am running this particular AI sentiment. And if you look into this particular statement, it says maximum category number of 10 exceeded. And that's why this AI sentiment version 1 failed. You may get a very simple question. A user is trying to execute AI sentiment where aspects or entities are dynamically generated, and the pipeline failed, saying that maximum category exceeded. What is the limit of the maximum category? And you have to pick 5, 10, 15, and 20. And they will try to confuse you with little bit of scenario around this fact. Now, let me remove roughly some of them and let's rerun. So this is my revised version where I have just taken around 10 input. However, my language is remain French, and let's execute this. So we got the result. So the sentiment outcome is still in English. It is not in a French. And you see, this is positive, negative. So the advantage here, if I'm going to use AI complete, probably I will translate it. And from translation, I will try to give it to the AI complete. And AI complete will finally generate the sentiment analysis. This is a multi-step process. So Snowflake has enabled the language support for AI sentiment. So you don't need to worry about translating those things, and it saves a lot of effort as well as your cost with respect to token processing. When it comes to the cost and the usage, primarily all those informations are recorded into AI SQL usage history view. And I have created a separate video in the playlist. You can go and watch it. But right now, we will not go deeper into this view. We are going to execute this SQL statement where my filter criteria function name like sentiment. And for that, I am using account admin role. So this is how the result look like. This is my function name where it says sentiment or entity sentiment. So the function name does not capture AI sentiment or sentiment. Both are captured as a sentiment because I executed both the query. If you look for the entity sentiment, this is the number of token. I do not have token credit granular and token granular. How the data appears, I would suggest you to go to my future chapter where these details are captured. This is my query ID if you have the query tag and warehouse name. So this is how the task specific function called sentiment works. It has 3 different variants, and each of the variants are having its own limitation in terms of a construct. And for the certification exam, you should really, really be thorough. You will certainly get 2 or 3 questions on the task specific function. So before we close, let me ask some tricky question and try answering them. If you don't get the answer, look for my pinned comment where the answer is already provided. Tell me, if I have to produce the query text followed by function name, token credits, and token count, how can I produce a result like this? Now, if you look into this row number 4, where AI sentiment is invoked with input parameter followed by entity, which I have cinematography and soundtrack. The number of token is 215. Likewise, if I go for the row number 5, where I am only calling with input, my token count is 153. And here, when I am invoking with only 4 entities, my token count is 191, right? So from 215, 153 and 191, you should be able to provide a reason why the number of token increases. Probably you might have guessed by now. Likewise, if I go to this French one where we had a long text along with 10 categories, the token count has increased drastically to 701. Now, if I go to the line number 16, my sentiment is only taking 25 token. Obviously, so this is Snowflake Cortex Sentiment is relatively much cheaper, where it is only giving the polarity from -1 to +1. So based on your use case, you should know which one to pick and why you are picking what you are picking. However, this entity sentiment is taking almost 191 the way it is considered for AI sentiment. Now, if you look into this particular SQL statement, we got the sentiment text from the table. And if you look into this row number 18, all the input has been passed at one go, and that's why the token count is 563, okay, compared to 563 because it has taken 3 different input text followed by this category. So now you have a clear understanding that how the token count and the token credit cost varies according to your AI function which is being used, whether it is sentiment or entity sentiment or AI sentiment, and if I pass the categories, how it changes the total token count. So the usage is also another important dimension under the domain 3 governance, and you should be fully aware while you are using this. Now, one last question I would like to ask, and again, if you don't find the answer, you can always see the comment which is pinned in the video below. So I am going to use this AI count token helper function, which is again covered in the separate video. And here I am passing the name of the AI SQL followed by the input text and followed by the category. So if I look into the row number 6, here this is my input text and this is my 4 different categories. And the token count is 191. Now, when I execute this query, should I expect 191 less or more? Okay, so you can pause and think. So let me execute this query and show you the result. Now, this is 156 compared to the number what we have seen. Now, if Snowflake asks this question, why the AI token count for the same set of input is less when it same set of input is increased when we use the AI sentiment function. Thanks for watching this video. This channel is dedicated to helping you master Snowflake, data engineering, and GenAI skills without the complexity. And if you want to take your learning to the next level, you can also explore my Udemy courses for deeper and structured training. See you in the next video. Keep learning and keep growing.